Okay, everybody. Hi, it's Zara. Now, I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me, and I also want to make sure that I am live on Facebook because that's what I promised. So, okay, let me get this in here. So, on YouTube, can anyone tell me if you're okay hearing me and seeing me? Because I would really like that. Let's see. Okay. See how we're doing. Does everyone have the book? Okay. Let's see. That's better. Now I can see. All right. Let's get started. So, you know what? Money is probably one of the most important subjects in our lives. I mean, everything's important. Talk about it. Our relationships are important, health is important, so many things are important. But I think money is in our face every day. And that's what makes us want to be abundant because I tell you what, that's what freedom is all about. Freedom is all about being able to do what we want to do when we want to do it. And our lives in this world are structured in a way where all we can do is to buy things, right? If you want something, buy it. And that's why money is such an important thing. And that is why it's so important for us to create abundance in our lives because it gives us freedom. And I'll tell you something, one of the things that I've understood about law of attraction is that at the basis of law of attraction is freedom. When you understand law of attraction, it sets you free. It sets you free to have, be, and do whatever it is that you want once you start understanding how everything fits together. And that is the reason that I'm doing these book studies and using Abraham Hicks material is because I know there are many wonderful teachers out there, but for me, everything came together, clicked in when I started following Abraham. And that is why I always credit Abraham for all the things that I've learned. Some of them I knew before, I just didn't know how it all connected together. And that is the difference that Abraham made for me. Okay, so let's get right into it. I did a little video clip when I started a few days ago, and it was, so this book is organized in a really interesting manner because it does not have chapters, it has questions or short segments. That is, I think that is really, really good. It's a good thing because this stuff has, even though it's a little bit that you read, but the meaning has a lot of depth in it. And in order to really figure it out, it is good to do it in small bites and really figure it out, understand it before moving on to the next little bit. So the place where I stopped last time was the heading on page 4 is doing your best, still not enough. And in that place, in that section, Abraham says, when you come to the place of openly condemning the financial success that you crave, not only can that financial success never come to you, but you're also forfeiting your God-given rights to your health and happiness as well. And my friends, that is the most important thing, seriously, because think about it. If you, I came across this with my mother. My mother used to look at really rich people and she would say, oh, it's ill-begotten, right? They must have skeletons in their closet. How did they get so rich? And because my parents worked really, really hard and we were not rich. Everything was difficult and hard work and budgeting, and you can only have this much, and things like that were the norm around me. And so I cannot say that I grew up with an abundant mindset. One of my biggest journeys with law of attraction has been to overcome that, to reprogram that. And I was telling you about my mother. So I grew up with this philosophy that people who have a lot of money probably came by it through illegal means, through bribes, through not honest means. And another thing I learned from my mother was, people who are rich have a chip on their shoulder. They're all snobbish and they don't really care about anyone else. So those were the two most prominent opinions that my mother had about people who had a lot of money. And I grew up with those opinions. And then I learned that when you dislike those people who have wealth, how can you be wealthy? Because the very thing that you want, you dislike the presence of it in someone else's life, right? So envy is all about that. I want what you have, but I don't like the fact that you have it, and I don't like who you are because you have it. So that is a very negative vibration. And law of attraction, I'm just going to use this as my guide. So law of attraction says every subject, or Abraham says, law of attraction is about everything being a subject, and every subject has two sides, the having and the not having of it. And if you're pulling at both ends, so you really, really, really want money, and you're really, really, really pulling against having money, then what you're doing is you are staying stationary, because if you pull this equally at both ends, it's not going anywhere. One end has to let go. And if you let go the not having end, then it goes towards having, right? And that's the important thing. When you push against those people, and what I mean when I say push against, I mean that you look at them and you say, oh, they're not worthy. Why do they have it? I'm more worthy than they are. all comparison of any sort at all is not a good thing, because comparison means that we are looking at, either we are looking at someone else and finding them inappropriate, or we are looking at ourselves and finding ourselves inappropriate. In either case, you are giving out a negative vibration. You're sending a negative signal out into the universe. The important thing about that is that if you are sending out a negative signal, that signal has magnetic power, and that signal that you send into the universe cannot attract anything positive to you, because negative cannot attract positive. So, does that kind of make sense to you? Right? Negative cannot attract positive. That is what law of attraction is all about. Like vibrations attract like vibration. So if you are sending a negative signal into the universe, then the very thing that you want, the money that you want, cannot come to you because of the way you're thinking about it. All right. So let's move on to the next little bit. Any questions at this point in time? So if you guys have any questions, just jump in whenever you want. Corinne, do you have any questions? All right, I'm just going to type that here. All right, moving along. The next heading on page 5 is whatever I can desire, I can achieve. Because the minute you give birth to a desire, it is already created. It is created in the vibrational world. We can't see it, it hasn't manifested, we can't touch it. But remember that our 5 senses that help us to decipher the physical world, that's not all we have. We also have a 6th sense. Our 6th sense is that thing that helps us to decipher the vibrational world, our feeling place. So if we have created it, we can feel our creation out there. The thing that goes wrong for most people is that once they create it, now they start looking for it. And if you're looking for it, that's what is called attachment. And attachment to the outcome never brings us the results that we want. Attachment. Okay, so here's something really, really important for you to understand. All teachers, at least I know Abraham and Wayne Dyer, have both always said that attachment to the outcome pushes things further away. What happens is people confuse giving up attachment with giving up of the desire, and the two are not the same. Giving up attachment does not mean that you're giving up the desire. I always like using this analogy of a child. You know, if you took a child into a toy store, I've done that. I've taken my children into Toys R Us when they were tiny. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. You take your kids into Toys R Us and you're taking them around, and your intention is to just get them the one thing, and you've got this amount of money that you've budgeted to buy them a gift today. But then they see something and they want it, and it's not in your budget. So you say no, and next thing you know, you have a tantrum going on, right? You see, the important thing to understand is this. We throw tantrums true. We want something, we ask for it, then we discover law of attraction, and we start understanding that when we've asked, then the universe should yield it to us, and we look around and we say, where is it? I should have it by now. So we start throwing a tantrum, we start feeling bad, we start feeling unhappy. And it's the same concept. So what do we do with the child? We say, it's okay, don't worry. When I have the money, at least this is what I've done in the past with my children, I've said, I have to budget for this. When I can give this to you, you'll get it. Okay? And then I find a way to distract their minds away from this thing so that, but now I've made a note of it. Next Christmas or next birthday, that's on my list. It is, my child is going to receive it, but not just now. But we don't do that for ourselves. We give birth to a desire, and now we are not happy because we think that we should be having it. And sometimes you have to divert, not sometimes, every time you have to take your attention off what you want so that the universe can bring it to you. So that's what is meant by attachment. Attachment to the outcome is, I'm not going to be happy until I get this. It has nothing to do with the desire, because once you give birth to a desire, it is out there and it will never go away, because when you think a thought, that thought never goes away. Matter, energy never disappears. It is always, always, always there. All right, let's see. I have a question, so I'm going to read this first. I'm finding it very difficult to be free of anxiety. I'm trying to feel positive, and all the good feelings and anxiety keeps overpowering everything. It is so exhausting to me. Sweetheart, I totally get it. I understand it. You know why? Because I was once there. I understand that anxiety. And I understand very deeply anxiety to do with money and having that thing weighing on your chest all the time that I don't know if I'm going to have the money to make it through the month. And how will I feed my children? I've been there. The mistake people make in understanding how to apply law of attraction to a situation like that is that we think that we should be thinking happy thoughts. But that's not true. Because a lot of times those happy thoughts are a lie. They are not the truth, because we're far away from them. And if you tell a lie, you cannot get the thing that you want. So let me explain. I'm going to use Abraham's. This is all about Abraham. So I'm going to use an Abraham analogy that's coming to me right now. And that is the happy sticker. So if you were driving a car and the fuel gauge said it was empty, you wouldn't lie to yourself and say, oh, no, the fuel gauge is lying. I'm okay. Everything's hunky-dory. I'm doing so well. Everything's good in my life. You would be lying to yourself. And Abraham says that's like putting a happy face sticker on your dashboard so that you don't see the fuel gauge. That is not helpful, because if you keep doing that, the car is going to stall and it's going to come to a stop. And that's how we run ourselves into the ground with respect to our finances. Suddenly, we come to a stop because there's nothing. And we can't lie about it anymore. If I am caught up with pain in my heart because I am thinking that I might lose my house, and somebody says, how are you feeling? Am I telling the truth when I say, oh, peachy, couldn't be better, everything's fantastic? That would be a lie. The thing with telling a lie is that it increases the size of the problem, because when you lie, lying is a negative vibration. So the more you lie to yourself, the more negative vibrations you're sending out into the universe. Negative vibration cannot bring us positive result, my dear. And that's why when people tell me that they are trying to be positive about their situation, I know that that's not going to work. You cannot become positive from a place of despair. It's just not possible. It's like if somebody is angry, so angry, you walk up to them and you say, "Oh, take a chill pill. You shouldn't be this angry." They're going to want to bash your face in because you don't understand how they're feeling. And when this internal dialogue happens in our heads, what we are doing is we are not understanding ourselves. We are not allowing ourselves to accept where we are. And that's what satisfaction is all about. Unless you reach a place of neutral. So I've started using this analogy to explain this to people. If you want to go forward, let's say you have a stick shift car and you want to go forward, first you have to put the car from park into neutral. And then from neutral, you put it into first gear, and then second gear, and then third, and then fourth. You don't take the car from parked all the way to fourth gear all at once. So let me put it in perspective for money. When the car is parked, you're not going anywhere. Money is not coming in. Nothing's happening. You want money to come in, and you want it to come in so fast. You want to be in the fourth gear. But that's the mistake we make. We try to get into the fourth gear. When we start understanding law of attraction, we think, oh my God, I can just change my thoughts and all I have to do is think good thoughts and then money will start rolling in. Doesn't work like that, sweetheart. And the reason it doesn't work like that is because you've got to find neutral. From park, you've got to go to neutral. And people often jump over that step, or at least they try to jump over that step, but you cannot. You absolutely cannot. And that place of being neutral, that is what Abraham says about satisfaction. When you're neutral, you're not pushing against something. You're not jumping up and down with joy either, but you're not pushing against anything. You are neutral. Neutral is, I present you with something to eat, and you look at it and you say, not my favorite thing, but I don't hate it either. I guess I'll eat it because I'm quite hungry. And it's okay. This is fine. I accept it. Right? This is where I am just now. And that is a place of being neutral. Satisfaction is a step higher than being neutral. That's like going into first gear. The first gear is being in satisfaction. Then the second gear is being in hope. And the third gear is being eager. And the fourth gear is flying high with joy. It is a step-by-step process. And if you try to jump over the steps, you land yourself in a ditch. You cannot jump. All right, so I hope that makes sense. No. Anyone who says to me that I understand how LOA works, and I've been trying to use LOA, and I've been doing my best to be positive, but nothing is changing, that means that you don't really understand LOA. Sorry, but you know what? It's not my job to feather your nest. It's not my job to make it easy for you. It's my job to tell it to you the way it is. If you are not making progress, then there are things about law of attraction that you think you understand, but you don't. Because law of attraction is a mirror. And it reflects back to you exactly how much you understand it. Because if you really understand it, if you really understood law of attraction and you really were using it the way it is supposed to be used, deliberate creation, then you would have this internal feeling of peace, not anxiety, the opposite of anxiety, peace within your heart, because you would know and you would be able to see your progress towards what you want. It might be slow progress, but you will be able to see that progress. And if you're not seeing progress, you're not doing it the way it's supposed to be done. And that's all there is to it. Law of attraction, the world is a mirror. Our manifestations are the best way for us to know whether or not we are thinking on purpose. Our manifestations tell us that. They give us that information. And if you're not sure inside that you're heading in the right direction and progress, you can see the fruits of your progress around you because things are getting better. And then when something tiny gets better, oh my God, just appreciate the hell out of it. Because that little thing that happens for you, you can milk it, as Abraham says. Appreciate it so much that you're able to pull that tug of war your way, towards you. All right, I'm glad that makes sense. Fantastic. Okay, let's go back to the next section in the book. So Abraham says, if this time-space reality has within it the ability to inspire a desire within you, it is absolute that this time-space reality has the ability to yield you a full and satisfying manifestation of that same desire. It is law, and it is. And I can tell you that from 2012 to this year, 2020, so much has changed in my life in all aspects, but a lot of the change that has happened has been to do with money. Because my attitude towards money before I started understanding law of attraction was an attitude of absolute lack. And I did not know what I was doing wrong, but I was committed to my success. Absolutely committed. And I was going to do what I remember saying to myself again and again, I will do whatever it takes. I will go wherever I have to go. I will do what it takes. I'll talk to whoever I need to talk to. I will do whatever it takes in order to turn things around. That was the commitment I made to myself. It was that important. Because I'll tell you something, folks. I will not lie to you. I will tell it to you the way it is. If it's not important enough and you don't do what needs to be done, you will not get what you want. It has to be important enough for you to do what needs to be done. Everything that needs to be done. Okay? I'm glad I just answered it. Okay. So, going from park to neutral, just for everyone else's benefit, is take your mind off the problem and focus it on something else. It does not have to be something that you enjoy. It just has to be something that is not a problem. And what I teach is grab the first thing that is in front of you. So in front of me just now is this pen. In order for me, so you see, here's the thing. Focus. Focus is about engaging all 5 senses on whatever is before you. That's what we call mindfulness. So in our thoughts, our self-talk is wandering all over the place, and mostly worrisome thoughts. So you've got to cut it short. You've got to bring it to a stop. Otherwise, it keeps churning around and around. And as long as it's churning, you're sending out that negative vibration. And if you're sending out that negative vibration, you're attracting more of negative stuff. So you just have to break the cycle. You just have to break the cycle. And you break the cycle by looking at something else and then giving all your attention to it. So I would look at this pen and then I would start describing it with all my senses, my 5 senses. This pen makes a clickety sound when I open it and close it. I quite like that clickety sound. I could go click, click, click for a very long time. It's fun. I actually remember doing that when I was a kid, going click, click, click. Just like that. And my mother got so annoyed, but it was so much fun. I just kept doing it. It's so much fun, right? And I think I quite like it just now too. It's a nice distraction. Look at that pen. It's green. You know what? It's completely cylindrical. Look at that shape. Completely cylindrical. And it's got this nice green cap, big green cap, so I can tell from afar where my green pen is if I'm looking for it. And it has whiteboard marker written on it. And where is it made? It's dry safe, it says. Thank God for that. Oh, it's made in Germany. Look at that. Look at those barcodes. Those barcodes, they are an amazing invention. I find it so amazing that all I have to do is go to the grocery store and click like that in front of the scanner, and the scanner knows exactly what I'm buying and how much it's for and whether it's on sale. Isn't technology absolutely amazing? You know what is another thing I like about this pen? I can stand it either on its head like that or like that. If I put it on the table, it just stands there waiting for me to grab it again. And I quite like this shade of green. It really stands out on my whiteboard. And you know what? It's very comfortable to write with. I think I like this pen very much. So, if you do that, just take any old thing that's before you and spend 2 minutes talking about it or anything else. See, I went sideways when I was describing the pen. I went to the grocery store, my mother, yada, yada, yada. You can go sideways. The point is not going back to the problem. Because what Abraham says is that 60 seconds, just 60 seconds of focusing on something is enough to get positive momentum going. So if you take your mind off the problem just for 60 seconds and start talking about something like that, just for 60 seconds you've shifted into neutral. And now from neutral to first gear, all you have to do is find something that you can appreciate. Find something. It doesn't have to make you happy. See how I was appreciating technology? That's good enough. My appreciation for technology is a pure sort of appreciation because technology is not a problem in my life. If technology is a problem in your life, please don't go there. But technology is not a problem in my life. So it is a good subject for me to focus on. And I can just keep going and going and going. Like that. Pick up another thing and a bottle of water and a mug full of tea, whatever. It's about not focusing on the problem, because when you don't focus on the problem, that's when you've given up control. And you have to give up control so that the universe can work on your problem. If you keep control with yourself, the universe cannot help you. Okay? All right. Fantastic. So let's keep moving. We're on page 6 of the book. And the next heading is, to achieve success is my natural birthright. Most people naturally assume that if their life is not going the way they want it to, something outside of themselves must be preventing the improvement, because why would I prevent my own improvement, you see? Right? However, by pointing the blame onto something else, Abraham says, when you give the credit or the blame to another for your success or lack of it, you are powerless to make change. And that is an extremely important message. If you're going to make any changes at all, you have to own responsibility. That's why taking responsibility for our thoughts and actions, it's an age-old proverb, phrase, or whatever you want to call it. You have to be responsible for your thoughts and actions. And that is why you have to take responsibility, because unless you take responsibility, then you cannot change it. Because now you've given someone else control, and you're like a puppet that they're playing with. And if you're like a puppet, then it's useless, right? Life is useless because you have no control. You have to accept responsibility that whatever happens to you because of your thoughts, which lead to your actions. Right? Am I right or am I right? I'm right. I'm absolutely right. And there's a little thing that happens before that. Before thought is emotion. I feel a certain way that makes me think certain types of thoughts. And those thoughts then translate into my actions. So everything starts where? With feelings, with emotions. That's where everything starts. Thought is a tool that we can use to manipulate the way we feel, because we can control our thoughts. Yes, that's why law of attraction is about understanding how to think your thoughts. Not because the thoughts do anything. The thoughts are not important, but what's important about the thoughts is how they make you feel, because it's the feeling that sends out the vibration that brings you the results that you want. Does that make sense? Yes, it does, doesn't it? Okay. So that's why we don't want to give credit or blame to anyone else outside of us. Yes, that's right. See, yes, we have to retrain our thinking. And you're asking about the brain, but I want to create a separation for you today. We don't retrain our brain, we retrain our thinking. Our brain and our logic are two different things. Our brain is a muscle. Our logic is not a muscle. Our logic is a vibration. So we have to retrain our logic. And we get used to certain patterns of thinking. We can retrain those patterns of thought. The way we think is a habit of thought. Going back to the example that I was giving you before of my mother and how she thought about rich people, I used to always have that question, but how can that be? Because at school, I had a lot of friends who had a lot more money than my family, and I thought they were amazing people. I loved them. And I played with them. I didn't think they were snobbish or had a chip on their shoulder. So, but then I got trained out of it because I was immersed in that environment. And every time the conversation came up, it made me think maybe she is right? So we start accepting things that people are telling us, if we accept them, now we've made them part of our belief system. And if something is part of our belief system, then it controls us. So if you, like myself, grew up thinking that hard work was necessary to create wealth, well then, unless you give up that belief, how is great wealth going to come to you with ease? Right? It cannot happen. You have to give up that thinking because it's blocking the abundance from flowing. So a lot of this work in law of attraction that we do is in order for us to give up those beliefs that are blocking our progress. All right. So moving along, Abraham says, your emotional discomfort is a powerful indicator that something is very wrong. You are meant to succeed and failure should feel bad to you. Isn't that important to know? That we are meant to succeed, and if we're feeling bad, then that is an indication that something needs to change. What is wrong is not something that is outside of you, over which you have no control. What is wrong is within you, and you do have control. That is the key. We absolutely have control. Excellent. And you know, that feeling, that knowing that I do have control, that's a truly important place to be. One second, guys. Sorry about that. All right. Back. Money is not the root of evil or of happiness. Page 7. Money is not the root of evil, and money is not the cause of happiness either. Because happiness, we all know that people can be happy even if they don't have a lot, right? But as long as you think that money is the root of all evil, then in effect what you're telling to the universe is, I don't want any money because I don't want to be evil. So please don't bring me any money. Keep it away from me. I don't want this money because when I get money, then I'll become one of those evil people. Because money is the root of all evil. My friends will leave me. My family will leave me. People will become jealous of me. So, universe, money is the root of all evil. So, universe says, oh, you think money is a bad thing? All right then, you don't get any. The way to get money is to love it. There's a video on my channel somewhere. And I was telling people in that video, it is a video about money, and what I was telling people who were listening that day was that the best thing that you can say is, I love money, money loves me. I love money. I absolutely love and adore money. Money is fantastic. I absolutely love and adore money, and money loves me. Money finds me wherever I am. Money comes to me in many different ways. I absolutely adore it when money sneaks up on me. I absolutely love when I'm surprised with money just lying around. I love it when money lands in my bank account when I'm sleeping. I love the smell of money in my hands. New banknotes. I love the feeling of new banknotes. See? That's how you love money. And when you love money, money loves you back. You can't hate money and then have money love you. Come on. Right? You understand that? Give and take, folks. What vibration are you sending towards money? Whatever vibration you send it is what is going to come back to you. Send love, get love back. Make sense? So, I love money and money loves me. All right, so let's get back here. Okay, so then Abraham now is starting to talk about the emotional scale. When you are able to successfully control something that affects most of you all day, every day, you will have accomplished something rather significant, which is where we started our conversation. Money is important because money is in our faces every day. Every day we have to pay for something. You're getting gas, you're getting food, you're so many things, right? And so as soon as you are able to deliberately guide your thoughts, not only is it certain that your financial success must improve, but the evidence of that success will then prepare you for deliberate improvement in every aspect of your life experience. If you are a student of deliberate creation, if you want to consciously create your own reality, if you desire control of your own life experience, if you want to fulfill your reason for being, then your understanding of these prevalent topics, money and the law of attraction, will serve you enormously well. And it will. Because all the subjects in our life are connected. If you improve money, if money is a problem in your life and you improve money just a little bit, you will see that your relationships will improve, your health will improve, so many things will improve. All right. So then Abraham is talking about the guidance system. Most of all, you knew that you were coming into this life experience with a guidance system to help you remain true to your original intent, as well as to your never-ending amended intentions that would be born out of this very life experience. In short, you felt an eagerness for this time-space reality that nearly defies physical description. And all that means is that when we were born into this life experience, we were here to have fun, not to struggle. Life is not about struggle. It is about enjoyment. And it's about knowing. So we came in with this guidance system that's really very simple. I know Abraham has introduced 22 different levels of emotions, but really, honestly speaking, you don't sit there and ask yourself the question, do I feel despondent or do I feel depressed? What's the difference, right? You don't do that. And honestly speaking, I don't see the value of doing that. All you really need to do is to know whether you're feeling good or not good. That's as simple as it can be. And if you keep it simple, when you keep things simple, it's easier. Simple is easy. So keep it simple. All right. So then moving along, even more important, you remember that you do it through your thought, not your action. So remembering that things happen first in our thoughts and action is secondary. Action is not the main event. Action is secondary. It is not, people say, you have to act. Well, yes, you have to act for sure. But you have to act for sure. But the action, when an action is preceded by thought that takes you up the emotional scale, then that action leads to better results than an action that is taken from a lower place on the emotional scale. All right. So, consistency. Now we are on page 9. I knew of the consistency of the law of attraction. Law of attraction is completely foolproof in the sense that it works the same way every time. Every time. It is unwavering and completely fair. So one of the things that happened with me, one of the changes that took place in my way of thinking, was that I started understanding the fact that law of attraction is always fair. That life is not unfair, life is always fair. And the reason life is always fair is because life is always bringing you whatever you are vibrating, because your vibration is that magnet that brings you everything that comes. So if that is the case, then whatever I'm getting must be what I'm attracting because of my vibration. If I want to change what I'm attracting, all I have to change is what I'm vibrating. And I can do that because I can think thoughts that feel better. That's how simple it is, folks. It really, really is that simple. And it really, really is true that our life experience, whatever is manifesting in our lives, is telling us what we are doing with our thoughts. All right, so doesn't mean that we are not worthy, because all of us are worthy. It doesn't mean that anyone is a bad person, because people are all the same. We all want good things for ourselves, and we want good things for people that we love. The thing that goes wrong is that we don't understand that our thoughts of angst, our thoughts of unworthiness or blame, those thoughts hurt us and hurt and keep us from the things that we want. So someone who is a beautiful person, amazing person, like I look at my parents and my mother and my father, amazing people, good people, always wanted good things, but I was privy to their thoughts because my mother used to share a lot with me, and she was always worrying about something. Somebody would say something and it would hurt her feelings, and then for the next 2 weeks you would hear about how upset she was about what they said. And then she would never forget it. It would come up next year and then again, and whenever that person's name was mentioned, that whole episode would come back to her. And so what was happening was this lovely, beautiful, amazing woman was keeping herself in an extremely low vibrational place. And because she was doing that, good things could not come to her, because law of attraction is fair. And all law of attraction is asking us to do is to manage the way we are vibrating. That's it. To have empowering beliefs, to not concern ourselves with what other people are thinking, saying, and doing. If we could just do that, everything else in our lives would fall into place. Okay, folks, we've got 5 minutes left today, but of course, we'll be back again, so it doesn't matter. And I'm going to be doing the weekly Wednesday sessions until we complete our study of this book. And in between, I might post other videos about money as well. But let's put it this way. February is money month. Okay? maybe even March. Who knows? So, law of attraction is consistent. That is the message in this next section. It is consistent and you can trust it completely. And that is why I say, if you think that you're practicing law of attraction and the results are not coming, that means that your understanding or your application, or both, understanding and application of law of attraction are not complete. And that's okay, because along the way we've collected so many beliefs and things that don't are not helpful, that undoing all of that takes time. It does involve figuring things out. But I know that you can figure things out because I did. And I was just like you. I was absolutely like you. In fact, I was like a lot of other people, because if you've had a problem, the reason I can teach you how to get out of it is because I've probably had that problem. So yes, I've seen a lot in life, and I've made actually tons of mistakes with law of attraction. And then I've learned to do it right. And I can teach you how to do it right. So in the next few minutes, if you will allow me, I can share with you what I am doing. So there are a couple of things that you can do to join me, which will actually help you practice law of attraction the way it is meant to be practiced. And the first one is get the workbook, Unlimited. It's a 40-day workbook with support through a Facebook group where I post on a daily basis. Twice a day, actually. And I answer everybody's questions in that group personally. Many, many, many people in that group have had amazing turnarounds. And that is my mastermind group. All you need to do is to send me a receipt for having purchased the book, and that allows you entrance to the mastermind. I can tell you, because I know what is going on out there, that it is nobody else is offering what I offer. Another thing that you can do is go to my website, ZMAHOON.com. This book is available on Amazon, but it is a free download on my website. It's called Why Me? Why Do Bad Things Happen to Good People? This was my first book. I started writing it as a blog post and it just turned into a book because I had so much to say. But it is a very short read. You could probably read the whole thing in half an hour, maybe an hour. But it really puts things into perspective. Oh, yay! I'm glad you bought it, Kareen. And then what I'm doing, what I have been doing since last year, is offering this course called the Heart and Mind Alignment Method. This is the course workbook. And the course is run, I usually accept a small class size because law of attraction to me is not my profession, it is my passion. And so small class size, live group coaching sessions. What this course does is two things, two very important things that people need to do in order to make progress. The first one is shift your negative beliefs, and the second one is get yourself into fourth gear. So shifting those negative beliefs is what takes you from that parked position into neutral, and then first gear, and second and third and fourth. So this course systematically does that. And if you're interested, you can visit, I'll post the link, and then you can visit the website for the course and see if you think it makes sense for you. and it would be lovely to have you join. The next class starts March 1st, so this is perfectly timed. All right, folks. That is all I have for you today. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to another live session next Wednesday. But in between, come and visit. I'll be posting other videos. Take care, folks. Have a good night, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Sure, you can ask me. Vinny, what question do you have? Go ahead. Oh, that's nice. I like hearing that. Thank you for sharing, Kareen. All right, Vinny, are you asking your question? I'm waiting. All right, let's see. Growing taller. There is a video on my sorry, Vinny, there is a video about that subject on my YouTube channel. So the first thing I'd say to you is go take a look at that video. Watch that. It doesn't matter whether the issue is money or whether it is growing taller or fixing your teeth or getting into a relationship. It doesn't matter what the subject is. All you have to do is to shift your attention onto something that doesn't get you emotional. So, in this live session, I was describing, and I don't know if you just joined or if you were there from the beginning, but if you go back and watch the recording, what I was teaching people to do was just pick up something really small like a pen that has no emotional attachment for you and start describing it. Every time the thought comes to you, oh my God, I'm not as tall as I want to be, will I become tall? Stop and tell yourself, that's not helpful. What can I shift my attention to? Maybe I'll talk about this water bottle for 2 minutes. Maybe I'll take my ring off and I'll describe that for 2 minutes. It does not matter what you talk about. Just get off that subject onto another subject and stay there for 2 minutes. That's all it takes. 2 minutes of actually focusing completely on describing something else using your five senses. So talk about what it looks like, how it sounds, how it feels, whether it has a smell. That's all. Put it in your mouth if you can. Just use all your five senses to describe it, and that's it. All right, fantastic. Oh, the course. Hang on, let me see if I can post the link to the course. Yeah. Here you go. Corrine, here's the link to the course. All right. And if you want to join the unlimited workbook, do the workbook and join the Facebook group that goes along with it, the mastermind group, you can grab a copy of the unlimited workbook using this link that I'm posting just now. Here you go. It's available on Amazon in both Kindle as well as paperback, and it's also available on Audible as an audiobook. Oh, Winnie, you're so cute. Thank you. I appreciate that. You are too. I'll tell you something and about myself, and that is that I reached a point in my life where I don't have any questions anymore. But when someone else asks me a question, the answers flow. So I don't this is not a business. I'm not a commercial person like other teachers that you see on YouTube or other places. This to me is fun. When somebody asks me a question, it helps me to connect with source because I flow the answers. I do not think the answers. I flow them. None of what I say is pre-planned. And I love people asking me questions because it helps me so much. I love that feeling of being connected to source. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Thank you so much to everyone who joined me. And yes, I will be back here on Wednesday and we'll stick mostly to the topic of money, but we can squeeze in other things as well. Take care, my friends. Bye for now.